Todd Falcone. Welcome back to toddfalcone.com. And today wanted to chat with you a little bit about retaining your team members, especially the big ones that are producing lots of volume and the ones that we all rely on in our organizations for our monthly checks. So, all right, so check this out. So I was having a conversation this morning with a coaching client who does an incredible job at maintaining very, very consistent contact with people in her organization, which kind of got me thinking about doing this video today as just a reminder. Because here's the thing, look, you go out and you invest all this time building relationships, building an organization, helping an individual grow a team, and that person becomes, at some point, independent of you. Really, they don't need you for anything. They're crushing it. They're doing their own team calls. They're running their own events, and maybe they're way better than you. And in fact, I've recruited lots of people that are way better than me in my history of doing network marketing. We look for that stuff. And maybe you get to a point, and this is kind of the ideal point that we look for, where they become so independent that they don't really need us for anything. They don't need us for everyday three-way calls and support of any kind, in fact. And they're running their show. And typically that happens, you've got a pretty sizable group, and the income that you would derive from an organization like that would in most cases be pretty substantial. So what you don't want to do, and I've made this mistake, and I've made it a couple times, where I didn't, and you learn from your mistakes. So this is my mistake that you might be able to learn from, because I've done it a couple times, where because the person became so independent, didn't need me for anything, that they were just running their show, and I'm out building other legs and working with other groups that are maybe newer and not as mature and as large and independent as that particular group. And so I'm out building these other groups and didn't pay attention and stay in consistent contact with that independent person who's now all on their own, where something happens. I mean, here's the reality of building any business. You lose customers. You lose chunks of your business that you have to then go find or regain or rebuild. And you're going to have this happen if you're a long-termer in network marketing, where you have a group of people leave and go elsewhere or leave the business altogether. So what you want to do is make sure that you're maintaining, and here's a rule, here's the rule I'd give you. Don't let a week go by where you don't at least talk to that person at least once, okay? So even if they're totally independent and you're just checking in and saying, hey, this is Todd, wanted to check in, see how you're doing, how's business, what's going on, I see volume is up, great job, whatever it is, and they're not even using you for anything, they don't call you for anything, that you still maintain some level of very consistent contact, where it's not, oh, it's been 3 months since you've talked to that person. Because here's the thing, if you let too much time go between contacts, just like in any garden, weeds come up. And if you're not picking the weeds before they get too big, all of a sudden the weeds take over the garden, and you can't do anything about it. It's already too late. Your garden is dead. And that's the same thing in this business, that you make sure that you maintain contact in spite of how independent somebody might get. Now, I mean, it's a lesson learned for me, because on 2 separate occasions, I unfortunately didn't pay enough attention to some of these people that became very independent, and by the time I got back in contact with them, it was too late. And in both cases, I lost those organizations, and I lost a tremendous amount of money and a tremendous amount of volume, because people went elsewhere, because who knows, a weed came up and grabbed them. So just a reminder that, when you're working with a team and you're building a team, you're talking to those people every single day, you're working with them, you're doing calls with them, you're doing meetings with them, that's one thing. But then you get to a point where they become totally independent and they don't need you, and you're out building other groups, and that's what we look for. But just don't ignore or let too much time pass between contacts, so that if something does come up, if an issue does come up, and in business, issues come up, that's business, that you can catch it before it really reaps bad stuff in your group. So just a reminder, this is a lesson for all of us to heed, and something that I've had to learn through unfortunate experience, but hopefully you can learn from my experience rather than you actually having that happen to you. So this is Todd Falcone. Love to hear your comments below. The main stuff that's going on is at toddfalcone.com. That's where the conversation's happening. So we'll see you there, and I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.